Behind the Beard by Aaron the Mastermind.
Yo, 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 what they do, what they do. I'm your host, Aaron J. Jackson for Fuck Going Out. We got the legendary Twelvelen in the house.
What's going on?
Chilling, chilling. How's your day going so far?
It's going all right.
Yeah, same. Had a long day, but shit, we gonna make shit work. So for the people that don't know who you are, introduce yourself and where you from.
Well, yeah, I'm Twelvelen. I'm here from Miami, of course, Care City, Miami Gardens. And yeah, I'm a musician. I'm a curator. I'm an uncle, a brother. I'm all of that, you know. And yeah, we here.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
So talk about growing up in Carroll City for the people, that's not from the Miami area.
Growing
How
up,
was it growing up, and how did it affect you into your future?
I would say, growing up in Carol City, it definitely it molded me into the person that I am today. Just like a lot of other neighborhoods that's just like Carol City, it develops you into being somewhat of an aggressor, and that's the one thing that I always like to say that, because that's the one thing that I admire about myself, or the quality or the trait or whatever that thing is that you want to call that you inherit from somewhere that you grew up in or whatever. And the reason why I admire that thing that I picked up, because stepping into other
Atmospheres.
atmospheres, stepping into other atmospheres and learning how to move and these different things is I don't know. It's just I feel like a lot of those people that are more fortunate than us, coming up, are a little bit more less aggressive. I don't know. It's kind of you kind of need that aggression. You kind of need that. You need that go get it mentality to be able to succeed.
Yeah.
And when having that mentality and knowing what it is that you want in life, it makes it a little bit much more, if not easier, it makes it a little bit more secure on accomplishing those things, because this is how we get it. You feel me? I have to have it. You know what I mean?
With any means necessary type mentality. You feel me? Especially, I grew up in the city, so I feel like when I'm in certain spaces, I feel like, damn, you look at certain people and how they is, it's like, bro, you just don't know what I'm going to do at the crib. You feel me?
Yeah, exactly.
So now I understand that. I go through the same shit. What were you what were you listening to when you was coming up? I know it's a lot.
Definitely.
Especially being from the crib.
Growing up, when it comes to music, I listen to a lot of different things. I listen to a lot of different things based on where I was at in that moment. You know, so if I'm home with my mom, I was listening to a lot of Frankie Beverly and Maze and stuff like that. But on my own time, I listen to 50 Cent. I listen to Goody Mob, I listen to Outkast. 50 was one of my biggest inspirations when it came to my personal self. You feel me? Listening to his shit is cause 50 is my personality, I feel growing up, and Outkast and Goody Mob, the first album that I ever had was Still Standing by Goody Mob. I got it from Brandsmart. My brother took me to go buy that. If I was hanging out with my brother, my brother is probably 15 years older than me. All he listened to was Bob Marley. You feel me? All he bumped was Bob Marley and 3 6 Mafia. And you feel me? 3 6 Mafia, Bob Marley, 8 Ball and MJG. That's the type of shit he listened to. So it's just a little bit of everything,
Yeah.
And also growing up, I was in the choir. You feel me? In church, my grandmother, she forced all of us in the choir.
Yeah.
She was the they call it the Sunshine Band leader. It's the youth choir.
Well, I feel like it was the Carol City when Rolling Loud. That was the Carol City band.
During Rolling Loud, I had managed, to get with Denzel's.
That's crazy.
One of our managers to be able to get Denzel a crazy set with the band. You feel me? They thought it was a good idea, and I was like, yo, let's try to do it. And Mark made it happen, and then I linked up with the band director there because I attended there. Everybody there know me. And we was able to get some of those kids to come out and perform live.
That's one thing with you, cause I seen you perform since Element days. People forget about that shit, but with you're a very good performer. You interact with the crowd and stuff like that. And that's one of the things I appreciate you for being an artist. What made you be just a listener into just being a whole musician? What transitioned that?
As far as transitioning me into
just listening to music, when you just listen to
Oh,
music.
just listening because my neighborhood.
Yeah.
Like the neighborhood where I'm from in Carrick City, a lot of artists came from there. Like literally, like my block and 2 blocks forward in the avenue alone produced Flo Rida. You feel me?
Yeah.
Produced Ross. Like Ross lived on my street. You feel me? Flo Rida lived around the corner in the crib, and then eventually moved into 3-7 apartments. You feel me? Po' Boy Entertainment started 2 blocks behind me. I used to go there, you know what I mean, as a kid, 9 and 10 years old, just to hang out with them, just to send me back home. You know, so like I seen all of that stuff. You know, Trick Daddy used to come through the neighborhoods and get a bunch of the little kids
I remember them days.
to come and lay children vocals on records. So like at 9, 10, 11, 12 years old, I was already around it. Like we had Briscoe, we had all of these things that was already in a community that was already kind of like, you know, inspiring and pushing, I guess, the youth in my neighborhood to be able to kind of drift in that direction. Even like Betty Wright, a lot of them, they all recorded literally on my avenue. They, like, even though they wasn't from over there, like Betty Wright, you have these people, they was all working over there. A lot of gospel artists came from out of Carrick City.
That's crazy. Yeah, I feel like a lot of talent came from Carrick City. Like,
Yeah.
And I feel like Po' Boy and Slip and Slide, like, those are like, I feel like they don't get the credit that they deserve.
Yeah,
in a sense.
I think it's not that they don't get the credit. They just pretty much just like, they kind of just,
They just chilling.
they just chilling.
Yeah, they
You feel
being
me? Like,
themselves. Yeah,
even
yeah.
like with E-Class himself, like he don't care about music at all. All he care about is the food business. He's just trying to capitalize as much as he can. He don't open up a Chinese restaurant.
That's
you feel me?
crazy.
So it's like, it's stuff like that, like, you know.
I'm glad that he's, you know, still doing that, you know, just producing, you know, because I feel like when you get older, you get more wiser. You just want to do and experience different things in different avenues. But what made you come up with the name Twelvelen? That's an interesting name.
So when I was younger, the older guys in my neighborhood called me V12. V12 is the highest performance engine you can put in a car, and I was always like, they called me fast for my age, like grown, like for my age. So they always called me V12. My first name, Vars 12. And then I want to say around the age of like 13, 14 years old, like that's when we was on like MySpace, you feel me, and shit. And like I was always really big on marketing. I don't know why my brain was always on like, I didn't even know it was marketing that I was doing.
Yeah.
It was just more so on how can I stand out from the rest to be just like, I was just always big on like how things lay out, you know. And then one day I had I was recording music, and I used to like just put my music on my MySpace, you know. That's what everybody did. And I had put a video up on YouTube, and I looked up my name V12. I couldn't find me.
Yeah.
The reason why was because when you put V12 in, you find a bunch of car motors.
Yeah.
So I was like, all right, yeah, this not gonna work. I gotta switch it up. And then I was just like 12, and then Len, Len. And the Len comes from my grandfather's name is Len. And that's nothing really deep or crazy to it. That's just how the name came about. And then I also, like, as I got older, a big inspiration was like Wiz Khalifa. You feel me?
Yeah.
And like even with like Wiz Khalifa, I didn't know about the Wiz Khalifa till I was growing up. So when I heard his name, I was like, what the fuck, Wiz Khalifa? And I was like, this name sound weird. You feel me? I was like, that's what it's about. Your shit gotta stand out. And then eventually I grew up and found out like Wiz Khalifa was a Tawa, and I was like, oh, it wasn't that different.
Yeah. Like the name Lenny, I be seeing it on Instagram and Twitter. Like, what's that dynamic with that?
I mean, that whole thing is just me just wanting to, just like, I guess, like create a sub brand off of like 12 or Twelvelen or V12 or Vars. You know, just wanting to just show people a new phase, show people this new phase in which I am in now.
Yeah.
You know, like cutting off my dreads and going through the things that I've went through. You feel me? I was just like, I'm a new person. It's making them have to relearn me again. And with this new person that they're relearning, they are relearning the real me, more of me, not the artistic side of me or the creative side of me that was creating the content in which you were seeing at LMNT.
Yeah.
You feel me? It's more so of like, okay, I'm really tapping into 12 right now. You feel me? Like I can tell I'm tapping into Vars. You know, like Lenny, that's Vars.
Yeah.
That's really just Vars. You feel me? 12, that's really just Vars. You feel me? 12Len was that creation. That was the artistic creation. That was all of the stuff I was creating behind like records like You and I, you know, and Stardust was that balance in between record in which I wanted to reveal my true self fully, but didn't want to because I didn't want to shake my core audience that I developed at that time, which was more leaning towards the side of the privileged, you know. And with like, you know, cutting my dreads and going through all of that stuff, I took that as an opportunity to be able to expose myself more. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna just give him Lenny. Here you go. You feel me? And still keep it tied close to the brand of Twelvelen without saying Degovaris.
Yeah. Would you say that's like a alter ego?
It's not even alter ego. I feel like it's just me.
Just you.
It's literally just me. There's no alter ego. Twelvelen was probably more so of the alter ego because it was a creative expression. It was out just only creating. Like Lenny now curates for people.
Yeah.
You feel me? Like Vars goes out of his way to help put together these, these activations because that's just what he loved to do.
Exactly.
And I can do that without the fear of, shaking up an audience in which I would never want to lose, but sometimes you have to lose them.
Yeah.
Because that means they're not really there for you.
Exactly. And you kind of being yourself at the same time. Just like with music, and not even just music, just art as a whole. Like, you have your fans, but they don't understand that you're trying to experience different things and trying to experience the next level and shit like that. So talk about the beginning stages, because we talked about LMNT. Like, talk about the beginning stages of you performing. How was that like compared to now?
I mean, I want to say it hasn't really changed. I've always been scared. I'm still always scared when I perform. You feel me? Like, I can't talk before a show. I can't hear music. I don't want to hear nothing. I don't want nobody around me. Nothing. Like, I'm always scared, And I mean, when I first started performing, I mean, I didn't know how to perform because I wasn't never the type of artist or the type of person to yell and get up in someone's face.
Yeah.
I never was the type of person to, to dance on stage.
Yeah.
I don't do that stuff. So I was just starting to think about like, all right, how do I perform and keep people engaged without doing all of that stuff?
Yeah.
And a big inspiration and a person that I self-interned off of, self-interning them, just watching them, was Al Green and how Al Green performed. And I took from what Al Green was doing. And all Al Green was doing was making sure that he connected with everybody. Yeah. Even if it was literally one person. His whole thing was eye engagement, like making sure that the person feel you. You feel me? It could be a crowd of 100,000 people. Nobody know your music at all. But if you can just lock in with just one person and perform with them, get them engaged, everybody else begin to feel what? Yeah. Left out. So being that they feel left out, what they feel more inclined on doing now? Engaging. You feel me? The person next to you is going to do what? Pretend like they know what's going on because nobody want to be left out. Eventually, that becomes a domino effect, and then everybody start fucking with you. And that's always my thing. And I tell a lot of other artists that too, be like, bro, if you scared to perform, don't look at nobody else. Don't look at nobody. Just look at one person. Give them the show. And then what's going to happen is they're going to leave and they're going to talk about it, and everybody else is going to talk about that. So if you're an artist that's not really into that shit, just create your own show, your own party in between you and that one other entity or that one other person. And that's how for me personally, that's how I defeated that fear of going up on a stage in front of people.
I feel like that's like artists and musicians, y'all have a gift when it comes down to performing with so many people, especially your performance at Rolling Loud with Denzel. Like, that's so crazy because I look at old footage of, what's his name, James Brown and those performers. I'm just like, damn, the artistry of them performing and getting in tune with that crowd. And I always say, with performers, it's a job. It's an actual job, and there's no joke with that and shit like that. So, in the beginning stages, I've seen you with Denzel, of course, and still this day as well, with Nell, Rel, and the whole Raider Clan. What was the experience like around that time, and as well as what did you learn from that era?
That whole time, that whole Raider Clan era was definitely, it was something really magical because we was all together. Mm-hmm. You feel me? And even at that time, I wasn't producing or putting out content. I was putting out very little content because growing up around like Po' Boy at the time, growing up around like Flo and all of them, like, I always thought that your music's supposed to be put out a certain way. So, like, I was more so chasing that clean sound at the time of, like, you got to get it mixed, you got to get it mastered, it got to sound this way. While on the other hand, Nell, Rel, Denzel, Puya, Simi, everybody was creating this lo-fi sound very dirty. It sounded like it was recorded in the bathroom. You feel me?
Yeah.
And the thing is that that's how a wave is created. A wave is created not because you set the tone or just one person is doing it. No, a wave is created because multiple people are doing the same exact thing. It could be completely trash. If it was one person doing it, they'd be like, man, this shit garbage, turn it off. But you have 20, 30 people doing it. It becomes a wave. It becomes a thing. And that's why I was magical at that time, because you had this wave that was that formulated and started, and we had a time period once again, you know, and it was dope because I was an artist in which I stood out from all of that, you know, and you know they hit me up and they respect me on a level that's higher than music, that's much bigger than music, because I ain't gonna say them, but in particular, but not like a lot of other artists.
Yeah.
I was really in the streets and really been in the streets. You feel me,
Yeah.
like for real. So they admired and they knew about the things that I've did, and to see what I've been transitioning myself into becoming.
And overcame.
And exactly, and so like they always, you know, hit up 12, yo 12, what you think about this? Hey man, you can call me over here. Like you feel me? Like they look at me like that. They still to this day. Any of them, they'll tell you, they look at me like big brother, and I'm the same age as them. But it's because of my experiences. You feel me? And I guess just until like recently, you know, like 3 years ago, it took like 3 years ago, like when I actually started putting out content constantly, you know, is when I've now been starting to generate the buzz that I'm now gaining today. You know, I dropped one record, Stardust, about 2.5 years ago. I didn't release any music after that. But people couldn't really tell because I've been active in between that, you know, creating and curating little things and working with different brands, you know, like working with the Red Bulls and the Jamesons. So it was working with those people that actually brought me a lot of time to discover and find myself. And in between that, that's when I went through the whole transition of cutting my hair and all of that stuff. And like now, you know, 2.5 years, 3 years later, now I'm releasing music once again. And with everything that I've did in the past, you know, in between that, it's starting to get the recognition I feel like it do deserve. And a lot of other people feel like it deserve. And a lot of people are showing love behind everything that I got going on now.
Yeah, like I'm gonna say this because I'm very proud of you and Denzel, because I seen y'all transitions from the beginning days. You know, obviously you guys got more newer fans and stuff like that, but I want to say that again, I'm very proud of how y'all overcame what y'all came, and just seeing Denzel and Rolling Loud and seeing like them dope ENT days, like even with you with Golding, like that feature, I'm just like, damn, y'all boys doing y'all thing, and especially y'all from the crib, like that's just crazy. With Denzel, like y'all, I feel like y'all have this connection like brothers. You know what I'm saying? And what's y'all relationship like? Like how y'all get so close?
From back in like 2011 is when me and Denzel first met up at Bel Air Academy, which was in it was in Carrot City. It was like a little front shop
On 183rd.
Yeah, where everybody's just come and like just hang out. You know, showcase their music, like let people hear it, like have little listening parties, have merch releases there, like just whatever. It was just like a place for us to do whatever we wanted to do. And he was interning there for Kid Pop from Mufasa. He was there just like cleaning and stuff like that. Just like, you know, he was doing his music because he just wanted to get out the house and be around, you know. And that's how we first met. You know, he ran up on me. He knew who I was. And he knew like a lot of people from my area in particular. Like he was a fan of like CCM and all. He's like, oh yeah, you know Red. Oh, you know CCM. Oh, da, da, da. You feel me? Like I was like, man, what this kid is? He had a lot of energy. And actually, the same night I met him was the same night I brought Black 6. I brought 6 with me. It was in 2011. I brought 6 with me to go. I think it was Rob Banks was having a listening, and I was like, I hollered at 6.
Was it Art Basel?
No, it wasn't nowhere near. It was just like a regular night. And this was in 2011, and Rob had a listening event. I never met Rob yet at the time. I just knew Pert and I knew Nell. And and my homie Kenny invited me to go there. So I went there, I brought 6 with me. And that was the night that we met Denzel, and all of us took a picture. It was me, Denzel, 6, the whole team, flight crew, because I brought all of them with me from the studio. We had just left Florida spot, and we came there. And that's how we met. And then our relationship just pretty much just grew off of just like
the connection.
Just like big brother, little brother, you know, type shit. Like he hit me up when he got some pressure, he got a problem, or he trying to go, or he's going through something, you know, personal. He'll hit me up, you feel me? We'll chop it up. And it just always was like that. And then just musically, You know, he always wanted to get into like the singing realm of things.
And I hear that in his music.
Yeah, so like he just started like, you know, connecting himself with me more and more after that. Like, yo, Twelve, how you think this sound? Like, I want to work on this. So he wanted to start working on singing voices probably like 3 years ago. And just eventually, I just started just doing all of the vocals. It's like, bro, you feel me? I do them, and then I layer his vocals, you feel me? And then just like sitting down and writing together, evolving each other's writing skills. And it just pretty much it developed through music, you know? And that's like our relationship is definitely heavily music, but that's my love brother. Like, if he got a problem, he hit me up. Same thing with Nell. He got a problem, he got something going on personally, hit me up. You know, all of them dudes, they got a problem, they hit me up. Puya, all of us, like, we all came up
that
together.
Connection.
You feel me? We all got that connection.
I feel like you and Denzel should have like an EP. Would y'all consider that?
I mean, at this point, probably not, because we already got one. If that's the case,
Yeah.
You know, I would never list my name on records like that, like featuring. But we always sit in the same room, create and write, and I add some additional vocals here and there.
Yeah.
You know, so it's just like doing a EP. I mean, I don't know. It could happen.
Hey, I just put that in there. You feel me?
Yeah.
That's one of my, dreams right there.
I wouldn't be surprised if it happened.
Yeah.
It could happen. It could definitely happen. But right now, I'm definitely just like, you know, I'm stepping back into like the music, light, heavy this time, and less more on the creative side of just content type things.
Yeah.
I just want to just focus only on me. So like, I'm gonna probably jump on this. I'm jumping on this Billie Eilish tour leg with him. I'm gonna do a few weeks on that. And after that, I'm just pretty much just taking a break off of anything, you know, pretty much dealing with him too much and just focusing on only on me. And I mean, other than just the music stuff, is just, you know, knocking out films. That's probably the most thing that I'll probably do for him, and what I'm doing for a lot of other people is just directing and editing and knocking out videos for people.
We're going to talk about the directing, because I have a lot of questions on that, because a lot of people don't know about that side. Yeah. I feel like certain people do, but not as much people, at least from the outside looking in. But one of my favorite records from you, and correct me if I'm pronouncing it wrong, Succulent.
Succulent. Yeah.
And that's one of my favorite. When you dropped that, it was what, I think 2016 or 15, one of them 2 years.
Yeah, I think it was like 16.
Yeah. And that shit just brought my soul out, you feel me? What was the recording process like when you was recording that song?
I don't even remember why I recorded it. I think, where did I record it? I don't even remember why I recorded that record. No, all right, I recorded that record with Akeem. He have the New Miami. That's his LLC. And
I know that. Yeah.
So like, I recorded at his spot. Nick Leon, who produced Stardust, he produced it, and I just recorded that record on some like last minute and wrote it on some last minute stuff. Like, bro, I ain't released no music in a while, bro. I need to just release something. He sent me the beat. I heard it. I wrote to it right then and there, and I just dropped it. Like, I was just more so when I first created that record, it was me trying to test a different vocal tone. Literally, now I remember it. Now, when I was recording that song and writing that song, it was me trying to experiment with my voice with lower tones, because people usually always heard me on bright. Before Succulent, it was nothing but bright tones. You know, all the friends bright. You know, sunny. And I was like, I want to do something that fits more into the medium range. And that is why I even went into Succulent, creating that record. And then I ended up getting up with the homie Summer Sam and just shooting a video for it and giving it to the homies at World Star, and they just took it from there.
Yeah. That's like, I think that's one of my favorite songs from you, like, by far. And once I heard that, I was just like, that shit was on repeat, bro.
Yeah.
Like, and I think it was around that time you and Denzel had released, I forgot the song, but you and Denzel had like released a song.
Yeah, I think it was, I had got him on like a remix to a song called Human Gods.
Yes,
I believe.
Human Gods.
That was on my project Friends, and I was just like, yo, put a verse on it. And I just like opened back up the session and he just threw a verse on the, mix it out, did some artwork and dropped it.
Yeah, the artwork was crazy, whoever drew it up.
Yeah.
So you're a busy person, I see, and out of, me being a friend and from being outside looking in, what keeps you at ease?
Man, I don't even know. I can't even tell you. I don't even be at ease like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like my homies be catching me walking in circles, bro, because I'm always thinking.
Mm-hmm.
If I say anything keeping me at ease, it's probably like I don't even know.
Yeah.
I'm never really at ease.
Yeah,
I'm never
I feel
at
you.
ease. So I wish I had something like that.
Yeah.
You know.
Do you read books? If so, what books you read
I mean,
right
the
now?
one book that changed my life was the War of Art, not the Art of War, the War of Art by Stephen Pressfield, and that's the book that like literally changed my perspective or altered my perspective when it came to like viewing like feeling like you're in like this block or resistance. You feel me? And that's what the book is basically touching bases on, which is like when you feel like you're stagnant. And not how to get past it, but more so opening your eyes to the things that you've, already know. But it's just
Remind you.
it's reminding you. You feel me? And like, it's just a lot of different things, And it talks about like prayer. It talks about on the difference between like a pro and an amateur. It talks about like a lot of different things. And like in the midst of like going through that whole phase of my life and reading that book, that was around the time when I like met Coach K, and like that was literally the same time, that whole time period. I met Coach K in that time period. I created Stardust in that time period. I moved out of my house in Miramar back into my mom's house for a bit, and then to LA with Denzel. Like all of that, that book altered all of that. I was like, yo, and it helped me a lot.
Yeah.
That book saved me.
I feel like a lot of people should get into reading because that really like it brings more knowledge to you, knowledge that people in the everyday world don't even like get to see. For
Yeah, I
instance,
feel like you retain information more. I guess everybody have a different way of learning. I never thought that I would actually get into books. I hated books growing up, and like now as a grown up, I like books.
But you
And
know what it is? Because the school system, they
Yeah, they didn't give you nothing that you wanted to read.
Exactly.
They didn't give you anything that you felt was even valuable for you to read. And maybe you just wasn't in that place anyways to even think that it was valuable. Because like right now, you can read a book 2 years ago and then read it today and perceive it different. Like right now, like I keep that book with me, and like I keep it like it's a Bible, bro. Like as soon as I feel like I'm fucked up or I'm feeling like down, I read it and I interpret something completely different today.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's one thing with that.
Yeah, for real. So I got this quote from Brick Magazine. I remember you was in a issue for Brick Magazine, and you mentioned that people are confused by the image of me compared to the muse.
Yeah,
the
to
music. Why you think people are confused?
Because today's society, when it comes to like music and visual art itself, and in the urban world, like we look at the musicians in the urban world that does more of the hip hop stuff to be projected to look like me.
Yeah. Would you say that kind of like
In the sense of like having a mouthful of golds and dreads and your body tattooed, they look at it and be like, okay, you must make this type of music. And it confuses them when I open my mouth, which I love, because the thing is that it creates a balance where I'm able to keep one foot in, one foot out. To be able to appeal to my people and let them know like, hey, we can do this, and to be able to sonically feel like this audience feel like it's receptive to them as well.
Yeah.
And just the crazy thing is I feel like we need to like remind ourselves that we come from the type of music that I'm creating. The type of music that I create is no different than what we've been listening to. We just strayed away from our way because of the hype, because what was created as a hype that was conjured to become a hype.
Yeah.
You feel me? Like we forgetting that when you was in your mother's house growing up, your mama wasn't playing the type of shit that you listening to.
Yeah.
She
said turn that shit
so
on.
when I perform these records that I perform, it used to bother me. It would bother me when I hear a person be like, bro, your music is so different. I hate that shit. I'm like, no, it's not, bro. Like, what are you talking about? Like, bro, this is the same shit you, like, your mama listened to. Like, and it makes me mad because it's just like, bro, you need to not think that way. Because when you think that way, you kind of stop our progression or even our culture or our music scene or our, just us, period. You stop music from evolving by feeling and thinking that way because you studying it. You contributing to studying where we can go by saying that because you're not going to push it. You're going to appreciate it. Like a lot of people appreciate my music. Like, bro, your shit's so dope, bro. I love your shit, but they don't share it. Why they don't share it? Because it's not the wave.
Yeah.
And they subconsciously, they subconsciously do it. They're not doing it on purpose. I know this.
But, you know, even in your beginning stage of your career, people was like that too. Because people didn't understand, especially coming from where we come from, Miami, they more into booty shaking music, the turn up and shit like that. And that's kind of like...
And I understand that.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, what I'm saying is that you wasn't brought up on that. Your mama didn't bring you up on that. Your father didn't. If your father and your mother played records around you, they didn't bring you up because that wasn't even there yet.
Yeah.
Unless you have very young parents who grew up in Luke time. You dig what I'm saying? Like if your parents didn't grow up in that era, then they did not grow up with that type of. They didn't grow up with rap music. My mama didn't grow up on rap music. It was rap music didn't exist when she grew up.
Yeah.
You feel me? My mother's 56. You feel me? I got 6 siblings. So rap music wasn't here yet. It was literally soul, if anything, rock. Funk, you feel me? Hip hop itself didn't come until when? Maybe
80s.
Like the 80s,
late
80s.
Yeah.
No, not even 70s.
Nah,
late 80s.
Late
80s because
late 80s.
If anything that was close to it was more of that weird sounding shit, which was still
disco.
funky.
It was kind of like disco merging into rap,
electronic that then eventually turned into grungy shit that turned into rap. You know what I mean? Like, so it's like that. You feel me? It's like you wasn't. You feel me? Like,
that way,
so it's like. When you go, it's just like, by calling it different, it's cool. It's different what's going on. And I guess, again, like, you know, some people don't understand it because they probably didn't grow up on it. Yeah. But it's cool. But it's just like, I have to remind them. And I can't just sit here and let people say it's so different. Like, no, I'm going to give you the history on it. You have a family. If your family come together, y'all throw these barbecues, what y'all listen to.
Old school.
So play my shit next to that. It's nothing different. I'm helping evolve that. That's who I see myself to be. I see myself to right now be evolving R&B to where it's not pimping R&B out to become trap R&B, which I dislike.
Yeah, it's becoming that. It's crazy.
I hate that trap R&B. Only people that I accept that from is Party Next Door, Drake, Six, Bryson Tiller, and The Weeknd. Other than that, I don't really accept it from nobody else.
Yeah.
You feel me? And like with my whole thing with the new creations that I've been like trying to tap into is just more so of just trying to keep R&B traditional, but evolving it without it being trap, soul, whatever you call it. You feel me? Like, and without it becoming like gospel R&B, which is Daniel Caesar. Which is cool. I like it. You know, I love Daniel Caesar. But like that's what it is. Like Daniel Caesar,
like different genres.
It sounds like more gospel. The structure is more gospel. You feel me? So how can I keep R&B traditional to its essence, but still give it some drive and some bounce and some edge without selling it out?
Yeah, I feel like with R&B, it doesn't give you that umph.
It
don't give you that
motivation
that soul,
no more.
That soul,
yeah.
And that's what I get from your music, and that's why I tell you all the time. Like with your music, when I heard that track from you, I was just like, damn, that shit. Because believe it or not, like when I heard that track, Succulent, by the way. I was going through a time period, bro. Like I was down. I was living in my mom's couch, and then when I heard that shit, I was just like, bro, like I needed that motivation, that urge, that drive. You feel me? I want to let you know that. And yeah, I feel like R&B is not the same. And for people to say that, oh, you the king of R&B, bro, relax. You got it. You know what I'm saying? Like,
ain't even about all of that. Yeah. Let's just keep evolving it.
And let's get back to the artistry. You feel me? So I know this question is like very like I wouldn't even say emotional, but very like meaningful. What do Carol City mean to you, and what do you what do you feel like your legacy gonna be for Carol City or even Miami or Florida as a whole?
I mean, Carol City, what it means to me. I mean, what Carol City is to me is home.
Yeah.
Like to me, Carol City is home. That's why I never moved fully. Never ever moved.
Yeah.
And I can't. And I snap on my homies all the time when I catch them gooking. When I catch my homies fucking up, I snap on them. I be letting them know, like, bro, y'all out here wilding, bro. Y'all got to keep me laced on what y'all got going on because at the end of the day, I'm still home. Even if I'm not involved in that shit, it'll still fall on me because me getting hit out here isn't me getting hit on revenge. I'm a trophy. You feel me?
Yeah.
I'm a trophy to the ops. You know, so with all of that being said, it's just me, like, I be having to snap on them boys and remind them, like, yo, I'm here for a reason. I'm here because my presence alone, being home, inspired these jits that's out here wilding. And they be like, they'll see me and they be like, damn, what 12, man, I'm trying to get on the flight. What? Where you finna go next? And they wouldn't never been thinking of that.
Yeah.
If I wasn't around.
And it
You
takes
know?
us. It takes us as people from the inner city. Like I'm from Liberty City, and the things I do is for these jits. Cause you know
Yeah.
how it is coming up in the city.
Yeah, and that's the whole thing, cause like they see me, they be like, "What 12? I'm trying to get on a flight." I be like, "Bro, let me know." Like a flight ain't nothing but a pair of sneakers. You gonna go buy them Jordans for 220, 180? That's how much a flight costs.
Yeah, to
And when
New
you
York.
get there, I'll take care of you. When you get there, you'll have somewhere to stay. I'll figure that out. Just come.
Yeah.
And they be coming. I ain't had nobody tell me that when I was younger. You know what I mean? So as far as with my legacy itself, I mean, I just see myself as doing as much as I can here and away.
Yeah.
And always keeping my presence home, even if I'm not physically home. And because at the end of the day, me and my brothers, you feel me, in my age range, from my area, we all played a part. We all played a part in how Carrot City is today. If it was because these different rivalries or beefs started from sports or us play fighting that evolved into I don't fuck with this person for real, to where then you had to pick sides. We began that. We started that. So I feel at fault. You feel me? And I am at fault. I'm gonna keep it out. I'm one of the pieces that's at fault. Me and probably 40 other motherfuckers. You
Does
feel
it
me?
bother you at times?
I mean, it don't bother me because I'm doing right. I'm trying to fix it, you know. Like I go to a club and I see, you feel me, motherfuckers who I know we don't fuck with, and they'll see me and they'll still say what's good. They be like, yo, what's up? I be like, what's good with you? And that's that. It ain't no pressure. But if it wasn't me and it was somebody else, one of the other little niggas, it would have been pressure. They would have been
real
clapping.
quick.
But it's the thing, is because it's the transition, and motherfuckers know what I stand for, and they know what I do. I don't do it only for me or my hood. I just do it for us, like people, just us as people, want us to evolve and understand that we aren't our real enemies. We not for real each other's enemy. We not. It's petty. Even if a few lives been taken in the past, it's still petty, because what's happening under our nose that we don't see is happening. And eventually we going to wish that we had more hands to be able to fight when it's time to fight against who we need to fight against. If it's spiritual warfare, or it's more of an oppression thing. You feel me? But they don't see it yet. Niggas never not going to see it. Niggas not going to see it yet. But they going to start realizing it. When they do start seeing it, they going to be looking for niggas like me. Yeah. To be like, what the fuck do we do? You feel me? Like, yo, what we do? They're going to be looking for niggas like us to be like, all right, bro, we got to do this and do that. Because it's okay. Everybody isn't to have the brain. They the muscle. Let them be the muscle. You ain't got to look at everybody in your circle to be smart. Yeah. It's not. Yeah. I'm good with literally having 20 dumb motherfuckers around me and 15 smart niggas and 10 calculated people around me. That is perfect, because everybody don't need to think. We just need some of you to do. We need some of you to map out. And we need some of you to lead. As long as the right people lead, we fine. And we all eat the same way.
And build a village on top of that. Yeah, I'm glad you said that, because people need to know that on the other side of the inner city, what we have to go through and what these people got to go through, because people don't understand that. When people see us, and I know you go through this, people see us, they think it's peaches and cream, but they don't understand where we came from. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So, but I'm going to talk about the artistry side again, of you directing. Yeah. And the art direction or creative directions. Do you see yourself, and I feel like you don't get enough credit, because you have, as me being a photographer, you have that eye. You have that, like when you did Denzel's video of,
the Ricky joint.
Yeah, I was just like, I was proud, because I already knew you already directed, but just to see that people was showing you the love and all that, I was just like going crazy, because I know your eye. Would you ever consider yourself taking that to the next level of art direction and directing? Yeah, that's really what I want to do. Yeah. Like, eventually, I don't want to stay in music too long. I just want to hear him get a bag, probably get a few #1 records, and that's it. Yeah. I don't really care for it. I've been doing it since I was 9 years old, and I've always been a more so visual guy. Mm-hmm. And I've been doing it. I've been doing, like, directing film, directing music videos for people. Just never put my name on it until this year. I was like, okay, this stuff got to come full circle. I was already doing like little art direction, working with these different brands. You feel me? Mm-hmm. Like, and it was just under my name, LeVar Joseph. It wasn't never tied to Twelvelen, but now I'm like, okay, everything got to just tie back to Twelvelen. Let's go. Boom. Mm-hmm. You know, I did the first one I attached my name to was Yoshi's video, Buns Cornelius, and I was actually featured on that.
and I directed that. You know, Denzel's, Ricky, and even the new album that he got coming out, Zoo. All of the direction on that as well.
That's crazy.
Like far as with the records and the sonically going about with the sound after the producers did what they did, they brought me into LA to sit down and like, okay, what you think about this? You feel like this Miami? Like, what you think we should do? Who you think we should help? So I was like, man, look, let's get Bird. Got Bird on the record. Like, bro, Denzel, holla at Ross. I even went to the extent of like getting like Kiddo Marv and Bushy B, which is even more of the surface area of Florida right now.
Yeah, shout out to Bushy B. His shit so hard. Shout out to the Blues too.
Yeah, so like Bushy B, Kiddo Marv. So it's just like actually like putting my hand and sculpting on that.
I'm glad you did that because a mutual friend of ours, when he told me that y'all was shooting the cover and stuff like that, and he told me the names, I was just like, wow.
Yeah.
Denzel is getting everybody to be united, like a unity, and especially you. Like when I heard that, and especially you talking about it now, I'm just amazed because you know how hard it is to get a lot of people in one room from being from the crib. Yeah, that just salute to y'all, man, on that. Like, you know what I'm saying. One thing, let's talk about Thank the Game. Yeah, that whole the video, the rollout, everything, the aftermath of everything. That shit was crazy. First, I want to talk about what was the recording process like of Thank the Game? What made you and what inspired you to have that rollout and thank everybody that was a part of that?
Well, I was recording the project itself, the album, and when in recording the album, I kind of like created this thing I call a cheat sheet. And it was basically like in my phone, I wrote a note before recording any record. I wrote down the records I want to record. I wanted to record a record that paid homage to my mother, a record talking about all of the things that I've been through, like just like every record already had everything like its own syllabus or whatever, like written out. Then I had a record that I wanted to thank the homies, and that's how I pretty much just like that's the angle I came about when writing Thank the Game. There we go, and with I guess like Thank the Gang at that time, going through at that time was just more so of I don't know, bro, just like. I don't know. I just wrote it, bro. It's not even nothing crazy. Feeling. It was just a feeling, you know. It was just like I wanted to make some player shit. You feel me? And like my whole angle with creating it was that the imagery in my mind was like I got money now, and I'm finna floss it. I'm finna show it, and I don't give a fuck if you get mad because this is why I'm finna floss it and show it because I got it from here. I went through it, so I got every right to do it like this. You feel me? I got every right to go to G5 and
blow that back.
You feel me? Got it because I worked for it. Yeah. And you know what? I'm gonna give some of my homies and let them blow theirs. Like, and that was just like the emotion I had at the time. It was just like, yeah, you know, like feeling like, you know, just feeling like the shit that I grew up on. You know, like feeling like, cause people don't really notice and peep, bro. About that whole aesthetic with like Al Green, Marvin Gaye, Barry White. They was real street niggas, bro. Yeah. They was real gangsters for real. It's just like they whole aesthetic was player shit, like not pimp shit, but player shit. Like you see the chains they wore, you see the big Cuban, the bracelets, and you like, see, but you gotta strip away the music. You hear them singing, and you just look at them, you be like, that nigga from Overtown. You feel me? Like, and you can tell, you know what I mean? And it's like that was just the whole thing of like wanting to create a record that made you feel like I worked hard for this, so this is how I'm gonna vibe today. You know what I mean? Like, and that's what creating that record was. And as far as with the visual, I wanted to create something that felt of that time period without going VHS or going tape recorded, and still keeping this depth. You feel me? In the actual recording process, because I'm really, really big on that. So I linked up with my homie Evan. We were shooting visuals for 3 points, and I was just like, bro, it'd be dope if I just do like I performed just like the first verse with this camera to project it on 3 points, just because we went outside and we did it and we played it back attached to music and it looked crazy. I was like, fuck it, we gonna shoot the whole video, bro. And we shot the whole video with the camcorder. And we eventually and then we end up getting that layout. And one thing with me when it comes to like filmmaking or whatever, I don't care about too much of anything. All I care about is wardrobe and lighting.
That's the key thing.
And literally, you can shoot with any camera you want to shoot. You can shoot with the shittiest camera. As long as you got that lighting and the wardrobe, good. It looked like you did it on purpose. You shot it that way on purpose. Because that's the one. Those are the two things that snitch on a film production. Exactly. It's wardrobe. You could have the nicest camera, the nicest anything, but the wardrobe look cheap. like something is out of character in this frame,
Yeah.
and literally it looks cheap. And like I used to work at Macy's, you feel me? I used to work at Estee Lauder, and that's a fucking makeup brand, but I used to work in visual merchandising. So I always was really big on like how things are placed. So I started implementing that into like when it came to like my photos and shit. Like I was like, yo, that's all it's about, bro. It's literally only about, when it comes to videos, only about set design and lighting. And if you want to make your video look crazy or a photo look amazing, wet the floor or haze it out with smoke. Because smoke, it diffuses the light without having to put a filter on the front of the camera.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So like you can use like heavy haze. You feel me? Like what I did was I got a pesticizer and I didn't put pesticizer fluid in it. I put baby oil in it. So when you haze it out, you can breathe it in. It's good. It's not toxic.
Yeah.
And then it lingers in the air a lot.
Wow.
So it's not like fog that disappear. And when you shoot through that and you light it properly and you shoot through that and you got the floor wet, even if it's a little bit to get gloss, it literally take your production value up and make it like it's a bag. It don't matter what camera you shooting with. You feel me? So like with the visual, that was the whole thing of like wanting to mimic something from like the 80s of like watching Michael Jackson on TV.
Yeah. With the video, I kind of got it kind of remind me of a day in the life. You know what I'm saying? Like a day in the life fucking with Twelvelen. You know what I'm saying? Like
in the backyard, you got the car shop, you got
fucking with the homies in the block. Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Again, that, and I'm glad you brought up lighting. You know what I'm saying? Because that's like the key elements of, you know, doing photography and you're doing videography. Like if you got them key two things, like the wardrobe, like you said, and the lighting, it can make
it make sense.
And for the people that's trying to get into these things, the visual aspect, the camera matters, but at the same time, you could use what you got and start off from there.
Yeah.
You feel me? And people kind of get intimidated by just the camera. Oh, he got a $2,000 camera. Oh, my shit ain't gonna. Bro, just start off from now,
what you got,
and then do what it do, and then work your way up into that.
Yeah, because even like with us at the beginning, like me and Forbes, like we were shooting with the T3Is, we were shooting with every fucking thing. It was just us being creative. And
then look where you guys are now. Like, what's your top 3 favorite places in Miami?
La Havana, Carrot City, and La Haiti.
Yeah.
I mean, them are only 3 things I'll probably say. I mean, other than that, you're going to be driving way out to Kendall.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Especially on the west side.
Yeah, so like I say like La Havana, La Haiti. I'll take back Carrot City and I say like Miami Shores.
Yeah,
Miami Beach, La Haiti.
The houses in Miami Shores is crazy. That shit motivation.
Yeah, I have to. Carrot City probably is definitely the last on my list.
That's automatic.
Yeah. Them are my top 3 places.
So yeah, man, that's pretty much it, man. I'm glad I interviewed you, man. It was an honor.
Yeah. You
know what I'm saying? And for the people that's trying to get in touch with you, how can they reach you?
You can reach me on every handle the same way, Twelvelen, TWELVELEN at Twelvelen. Everywhere.
All right. This is episode 15 of Behind the Beard, and we out.